One. Welcome back. This is Nerd Dad on episode 16 of our Factorio playthrough, and we left off last time talking a little bit about wanting to get our advanced oil processing going. And we are working on just kind of learning that up, and we're going to get ourselves set up. But what we will know is that we're going to need some water up here. So we're just going to kind of work on that while we're kind of learning the balance. Just think about how we would like to see that. And I'm thinking we will just kind of piggyback across the back end of here. Just make sure we don't connect to this line by accident. In fact, we could probably just bring it from right there, kind of like this. We'll just, since we've already got a pipe in our way, we'll just do this other pipe here. And in fact, why don't we take this as an opportunity just to go get a bunch of pipe? Kind of burning a little bit of time here, but it's good stuff. And man, those batteries are really kicking out, so I'm feeling good about what we've done there. Could clean this wall up too. We need to get that done. There's a bunch of housekeeping we need to kind of do. Oh, let's just try not to drive into stuff. How did I miss all those telephone poles? I don't know. We are golden here. There we go. Lots of pipe. Lots of pipe. I want you to drive into every pole on the way back. Oh, yeah, I just did. Yes, let's knock that pole out. I think we better fix that one. It's kind of on its last legs there. It's like a toothpick at this point. Okay, and how is our processing coming? It's getting there. It's getting there. So one thing we do know, there's a couple things we know that we can kind of do up here without getting ourselves in too much trouble. We're just not sure which pipe will be doing which. I kind of don't want to really leave the car way up in there. It's going to get buried behind some stuff. So why don't we just bring it right into here. Alright, so we got our water coming in. Oh, we're going to have our water coming in, and then I didn't have enough pipe right. There we go. So there's our water. And we can just kind of chunk this across here like this. And I got to be a little bit careful because we're not sure quite where we're going to bring this pipe in here. So what we do know is that we can do this at the back end, because regardless of whether this becomes the oil line or is the water line, we're going to need this sort of double system of pipe. So we're just kind of setting ourselves up here. All right, there we go. We got it. Let's just check. Now we'll get the rest of our trash slots. So what we can do now is we can actually convert these. And so what it looks like is it's going to look something like this. In fact, what we'll do is we'll do it on this one, and it'll tell us what the other ones are going to look like. So basically, we got lucky. It's a sort of a 50-50 hit, and I thought I remembered it was the right side of the, if you're thinking about going in, it's the right side that's the oil and the left that's the water. Sometimes you get it wrong and then you have to flip it around. Luckily for us, we're not going to have to purge anything here, so we're in good shape. We can actually connect all our pipe here, because it doesn't really matter if we're feeding water into these. We're not going to be getting oil out of it, because we're not going to connect the oil component right now. We might think about it, but we're not worrying about it too much. There we go. There we go. So whoop. That was almost a great big faux pas. I would have goofed that up if I'd hooked my water up down there. So I got to quickly convert these ones. Otherwise, we would have had a great ugly mess, because there would have been probably feeding back some. It might have fed back some oil to us, and that would not have been good. So I feel like we dodged a bullet. We may not have, but I just feel like we did. So all right, so. What have I done wrong? Oh, there we go. There's our oil processing. So the beauty in this, let's just kind of talk about this briefly, is if you look at the inputs and the outputs, when you do basic oil processing, you get out 30 of the, and I can never remember the names of the oils, I just kind of, it's the red oil, it's the yellow oil. They actually all have names. What is the name of these things? Heavy oil. There we go. Sorry, just took me a second. We're going to get out the heavy oil, the light oil, I believe is, the light oil, and then you get the petroleum. So what we're doing is, with this first basic oil processing, we were getting 30, 30, and 40. But when you convert to the advanced, you only get 10 of the red and 45 of the yellow, and then 55. So what you do is you really sort of start pushing it into the back end. And then there's another little beautiful thing that we get here, is basically, when we get advanced oil processing, we get some extra technology, and that tech is, let's go back to our advanced oil processing, we get these heavy oil cracking to light oil, which allows you to convert that last 10 into yellow, and you can actually convert the yellow into petroleum gas. So you actually can convert everything into petroleum gas. We're going to leave this red for right this second. You know, the funny thing is we never brought the rest of this online, and we still managed to fill them up. So that's kind of dumb. I didn't even really notice it. That's okay. We're going to basically do that right here, converting that yellow over. So what we were going to do here is the idea behind this is we are actually going to do this light oil cracking to petroleum gas. And this is where I started talking about we're going to need lots of water, because here, again, we need water. And basically we're going to do the same sort of thing as we've done everywhere else. It's kind of a, you know, just, you'll find you do this quite a bit with your oil and gas scenario. And I think that one's going to be the one we're going to run off of. Okay, just kind of eyeballing here for what are we going to be looking at here when we get this all done. And we can actually just kind of do this, connections, kind of get ourselves lined up, get our 2 in, our 1 in, our 2 in, and then I think it was this one here I saw actually kind of almost a great fit. Actually we'll just do an up and a down. There we go. And so we've already got this ready to go, and then what we do is we're going to bring in basically, whoops, what are we guys saying? What was I want robot speed. There we go, worker robot speed. What we're going to do is we're going to need to bring in, and I think we can actually bring it right off of here nice and tight like this, kind of here like this, and we're going to need a place for this petroleum gas to go to. And in fact we could tap right into this line if we wanted to. And what it would do is it would kind of, you know, the way it works is if you got enough pressure coming from here, it will feed this, and if it can, it will actually back feed into here. It always feels wrong to me for some strange reason. I just always feel like, oh, I don't like it. So I always actually just end up running the pipes. I don't know. It's a thing. It's a thing for me. I can't help it. It's just a thing. So I'm going to do it the way I always do it, just because it's a thing. I can't get past it. It just seems wrong. I don't know why. It shouldn't. It shouldn't matter. It just does for me. Yeah, get over it, I guess, but I can't. I'm just gonna keep doing it. Whatever. And watch later on in the game. I'll do it, not even think about it. But because I thought about it, I was kind of doomed from the moment I thought about it. Need some power in here. There we go. There we go. And we should be. Well, we should be doing it, except for we can't because we haven't got water in here yet, so that's not going to help. Dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. Gonna get some water down in here, so we're going to make sure we don't get that too close to there. We're going to have some problems, so we'll just do that right up there and give it a little space. And then, as I said, we can kind of run these side by side, so we can actually run this one kind of really nice and tight here like this. And actually, we don't need to go that tight. Just kind of trying to line up with this one here, where we're going to bring this up sort of like this, so we can do something like that. And having a couple straight pipes in the way isn't the world's end of the world. Are these guys working yet? Yeah, we can see them bubbling away, doing their thing. We see our petroleum gas starting to spit out, and hopefully we'll start to see this. Oh, we'll see this climb if I actually connect the pipe. There we go. And let's get worker robot speed 2. We'll just keep kind of trying to increase that if we can. And our gas is still kind of going back and forth, so we got to keep an eyeball on it. What we want to see is hopefully that'll start to slowly climb. Unfortunately, it looks like it's just barely holding its own at this point. We are burning it quite quickly with these batteries. Oh, mind the batteries are done now. So once this all gets backed up, so what it's struggling with right now is it's trying to build a bunch of sulfuric gas in here. We don't really need this to be as much as it's going to be. So let's do this. I was going to do this somewhere else, but let's do it here. I want to talk a little bit about pumps. And we're going to use pumps in a few places. But you can use pumps to limit how much gas you take or how much fluid you pump somewhere. Unfortunately, we need an engine, so we're just going to run down and pick up an engine or two down here. So we're just going to run down and go to our shopping mall. Where's our engines? There's a bunch of them right there, but wasn't what I wanted. We're just going to build some of these pumps. I'm going to build a bunch of them and just throw them in my bag because we want them eventually, especially when we get trains and stuff. We might start shipping oil around, and we will show ourselves how that works. But what we can do is we can throw logic on pumps, which is fantastic. So what we can actually do is we can actually intercept this line here, and we can throw a pump on it, just like this, and we can reconnect it. And so basically, as long as I have some power here, that pump will just keep pumping as it gets it. And you see it's getting a little sporadic pieces because the rest of this isn't really doing much because we just don't have the petroleum gas. But what we can do is we can come along, we can connect a wire, and we can do it multiple ways. We can connect every one of these and count the total of what's in all the pipes, but I usually just do it off of one, because if I know that this one has, say, 5,000, I know with 3 I got 15,000, so I can go, well, I only need 15,000 sulfuric in here, and I can say to this pump, well, if this one's got 5 grand, don't pump me anymore. So we can just come along and do something like this, where we basically just say, if the sulfuric is less than 5K, pump, and you can see the red light just went on, and basically that's going to stop this from happening. So it's very quickly what you're going to find is, instead of kind of doing the little sporadic pumping thing it was doing, what's going to come along here in a second, it should start doing, is you start seeing more and more of these kicking off, because it's just kind of backfilling this line and getting some pressure up, and once it does that, it's going to just block out here in a sec. Come on, there we go, there's 2. Now this one should kick up pretty soon. It's just, we just don't have enough in the line yet, so I don't know why this one's still pulling off. It's being a little strange. It's just trying to get lots of pressure in there. I'm trying to figure out why it's building up so much. I'm feeding it somewhere else. I think it's, no, it wouldn't be filling that line. What are you doing, you strange thing? It must be building up a surplus inside of itself. It's sending it somewhere. So I don't know what it thinks it's up to. There we go. Now it started backlogging. I was like, it's got to stop backlogging at some point, and then you'll find that it'll slowly backlog all the way down. And each one of these is going to do whatever that was doing, building up. I guess it's building up. Oh, it needs to build up 100, so it needs to build up a bit of a reserve. Strange. I didn't realize it took that long to do it. So until that happens for all these, this won't get backlogged. And once, well, what we want to do is build up a bit of a reserve there in the gas. Now, unfortunately, I don't see us pulling a lot off of here, and I'm kind of a little curious as to why we're not pulling off more. We should be pulling off a crunch load by now, so it's really kind of going slowly here. I'm almost thinking we need to double this up. I want to check our power really quickly, because we're okay. I'm a little concerned on how slow this is going. I almost feel like something's not connected, but we see we got petroleum gas going through here. I'm almost thinking we want to double this up and really kind of press this. Well, we could double up our logistical slots. We can't get into working robot speed 3. We could get some combatic robots. Well, let's just double up on our logistical slots now. Alright. Well, I'm thinking if we just leave this alone, it'll probably be okay. I just want to make sure that this isn't... My concern is if this keeps growing, we're going to hit a wall, and I want to make sure we're burning this faster than we're using it. As long as that number is going down, which it just did by 1 tick, as long as this can go back up to 18.5, we're good. That means over time we would slowly fill these up. But I'm still in the feeling like we're not really... Yeah, it's slowly getting there, but we could almost put another 5 of these online, I'm thinking. And that seems strange to me. I'm not impressed. I thought we were going to get a little bit more than that. Now, I have set up a lot of these in the past where I've done quite a few of these. So it might be that I'm just thinking of something else, but... Yeah, I could split off. We're getting lots. They're all working. I was thinking maybe I did something where I not cut a pipe properly or something, but it's kind of going as fast as it can go. I'm almost wondering if I was to throw a, how much pressure we know. We got lots of, it's not the pressure, it's, we're just not making enough of it. Alright, well, we are slowly counting that down. So as we're busy doing other things, we will come back up and we will have some petroleum gas. I think ultimately what we really need to be doing is, you know, producing more. And let's go see if we've got an oil surplus. That's another thing we can check into. Yeah, so we don't even have an oil surplus. So the biggest, the actual issue that we really ultimately have is we need more oil. You know, we need to expand up into here and grab this oil. And so I think we're going to work on that. But before we do that, I want us to really work on getting those electrical engines. Now, we got a few things with electrical engines we got to think about. We need some green circuits. We're good for those. But we need lubricant. And we need those engines. So we know we're okay with the engines and the green circuits. We've kind of set ourselves up for that. But what we haven't done yet is we haven't got this lubricant coming down. And I noticed, looking at this, I really bunked this up. You know, there's no nice way to say it. Wow, I just kind of didn't really do it. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Not. I really had meant to do this, which is kind of funny. But we managed to fill it up anyway, so it wasn't like it hurt us. It was just sort of, oops. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull this off. Now, where are we going to run this down? Well, I'm thinking what we'll do is just kind of run down the side of our lines here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump this up kind of on the outside edge of this line. Now, I noticed that we would hit water if I did that. What happens is if I tried to jump lubricant over this, then I start intercepting the water line. So you can't just sort of go, oh, I'm just going to go in and, you know, jump between these pipes, because it doesn't work. You just always keep intercepting the other. You got to think, if there was a pipe underground, you'd keep bumping into it. Yeah, in theory, I could make one above the other, but it just doesn't do that in game. It's sort of either you're underground or you're above ground. There is no layers of underground. So what we will have to do is, if we're going to do that, we're going to have to just kind of do a little zigzag before we get here, something like this. And then we can do this and feel all good about ourselves. I'd like to make it so that these are in alignment, but it's not going to matter, because once we get past there, it won't matter anyways. So I'm going to do that there, I think, and then we'll go. Okay, so we're going to get this lubricant up here, and I think we can actually come off that line. That's going to be pretty close to in alignment. Did we actually get that lucky where it just kind of spaced perfectly? Look at that, green lubricant. Wow, that was a lucky hit. Get lucky sometimes. Not too often. Okay, we need to just zig this line over here. And now we can bring this lubricant down. So that's going to be great. We are quickly making some progress here. You know, we got our batteries coming down. We're starting to get our lubricant down. You can see how it's starting to come together. We had to kind of focus on oil. And that's another thing I like in the game is there's these little focal points. You know, you kind of just at the point where you're like, oh, I couldn't really build another assembly machine thing. And you get into something different. You're working on oil and gas all of a sudden. And then you're, oh, I got something else I got to worry about. So lots to keep us busy. What are we going to do? Well, so far we haven't wrecked our backlog of these blue science packs. So I don't think we're learning them right now, using them. But I haven't noticed our speed being of issue. Now, maybe when we get into some later stuff, we might. But I'm thinking about just building right in here with our electrical engines. It's either that or we build them up here. And I don't think we need electrical engines for... I'm just trying to remember what we need. Yeah, we don't need them for... Do we need them for yellow science packs? Let's just double check. I'm pretty sure that we don't. I think we already looked at them. It was off of here. Yeah, so I don't think we need them for anything else. I think there's some engines and stuff we need them for later, but I don't think we need them for like a science packs and things. I'm kind of drawing a bit of I've got this feeling that there's something I need them for, and I just can't. I'm drawing a blank on what it is. So I could theoretically bump them out here. Thinking, you know, there are two things of engines there seem to be going. It's almost like we could build them right here, but I'm thinking we might just skip this for right now and just kind of just run some engines up here and build it right up in here. And then we just got to think about batteries. We'd have to get the steel and everything way up here. Or, and this is the other or, because we have to run steel and green circuits, we could actually build it all way over here, run the engines down to here, and give ourselves a bit of space, just in case we have problems with some other things. And that's something we're thinking about a little bit. What do we need? Worker, oh, we want cargo size. Yeah, we always want more cargo size. And I think that's what we might do, you know. I'm thinking, because, you know, I mean, yeah, we could peel off this line. We could start saying, yeah, we want a double side. Oh, look at all those guys coming in. Wow. Wow. Aggressive. You know, we could use the double side of this line, but I don't think we have enough room to kind of do another double red here anyways. So I think we'll just, you know, say, okay, we're going to use this for something else. And I think we're going to actually come up in here. And what that'll allow us to do is we can actually just bring in two solid lines right here. Kind of, we'll just bring in a line of steel, a line of green, and we will start committing to this. This will be where our red engines are going to go, right in here. And if we commit to that, commitment issues, then we would do something like this. If we know that these are reds, we know that we need, and why do I have it in my head I need steel? Oh, I'm looking at the total raw materials. What a dope. Oh, well, and now I'm feeling really dumb. Alright, we didn't need steel. So does that change what we're going to do? And I don't think it does. I think we're... Oh, does it? No, I think we're going to keep with it. I think we will just say, let's do it this way. Bring in our green lubricant there. We will bring up a split line, which we'll be allowed to split because it's going to work out really nicely from here. Kind of like this. That'll allow us to bring our green line up like that, and we can run our engines right in off of here. Kind of like this. And if we just kind of go like this right now, there we go, and then we can just straighten that one out. Oh yeah, I love it when a plan starts to come together. It's a thing of beauty. And there we go. So the engines will come along and take off one side of that. We'll get this line run back down, pick ourselves up some green circuits, which are going to come off right about... from somewhere way back here. We talked a little bit earlier about, hey, maybe we need to move these over. Get these all the way down here. So I think the time has come, eh? Get these all the way down. Okay. And let's just get that split. I don't think we need an extra split at that point for that the green circuits. I don't think we need to double off that main line. There we go. And let's just see if we can quickly finish this up, and we will be in good shape. And because we're coming in on that side, why don't we just put our red engines outputting on the same thing, kind of like this. We'll just do this like this. And whoops. There, 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 and there. And a couple of blues in there. And that should get us set up, I think, as long as I haven't forgotten the material. And what we should have, we can actually pull off of here like this. Looks like we came down a little bit too far with our materials. Didn't really need to chop that tree since we're in underground. But we'll just do this, and then we'll just kind of come and chop this piece of pipe. So we went one little pipe too far, so that wasn't too bad. We actually eyeballed that, not bad. Oh, but apparently I've stretched this a little too far, I'm thinking. A lot too far. Hopefully we don't drive into that too often. That's a bit of a danger right there. And what have we done wrong? I feel like we goofed something up. What is the problem? Green engines lubricant. Hello. Everybody's yelling the answer to me, and I'm sitting here going, oh, because I've got the blue inserters going backwards. Yeah, kind of hard to build when you don't put the stuff into the machines. I'm like, why is that not going? That just seems so strange. Okay. We're going to want probably a double set of that. there's a couple ways we can handle that, but it's just they take a long time to build. They take 10 seconds to build, so it's one of those, you know, really kind of want lots of them. So we're going to double that up. We're going to just say, hey, you know what? We're going to want 2 sets of this. In fact, we should run that right there. But that's basically how we set up these, you know, we set up these red engines. Isn't really too much to it once we get the these assembly machines aligned. So people wondering what I'm doing, I'm actually rotating these so that I can get these in, because they basically only have one way to input, so you have to kind of set your pipe up. I didn't really explain that down below, I just did. Not good of me, but you just gotta, you know, again, make sure your pipes are connected, and there we go. And then we basically can just run these lines down. It's pretty, it's, you know, it's not hard. It's and once you get the hang of it, it's a, yeah, there's some things, you know, like we know when we go to build concrete, I think we need water, and it's the same sort of issue where you've got to bring materials in on one side. And we can do the same thing as we did, you know, in other areas where you can kind of jump your pipe back and forth. I just prefer this way. And the nice thing about this is if I really decide I want to go crazy on the reds, I can flip it over. I notice we got our oil right there, though, so I almost feel like we want to get that oil at some point, but I just can't commit to it at this point. We're going to just want blue, blue in, blue, blue in. This time we put them in. That's good. And there we are. We are basically, we're sitting there and our red engines are starting to back up, which is great. We want to see that. Got a nice thick line of red engines. We're going to need some power. Always a good thing to have. And there we go. We're starting to get those engines backlogged. I think what we'll do is we'll just peel some of these off while we're doing some other little minor projects here. Just so we're not wasting time with these. Just get them, you know, just keep these going is kind of the plan. And I want to see if we're going to tax these engines down here, the main engines. I want to make sure that we're not going to be pulling off this line so much that we need to get this secondary line up and running, and making sure that we're not goofing up the blues and all those types of things. We want to make sure that, you know, by doing all these reds, we haven't goofed our system up. But that all being said, we're in a good place. Yeah, we're going to call the episode there. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate any likes, appreciate all comments. Please subscribe. I'm Nerd Dad, and I'm out.